So today, what are we doing? Do we remember that um that um that particular Excel sheet that we use for our Power BI project? I'm trying to open it. I'm coming. All those daily sales targets. This I want to open up everything.
Bike sales.
Not bike sales that we use for our Power BI. All these daily targets that they are selling pizza. You forgotten the one they are selling pizza now.
Yeah, that had different locations and had different managers.
Yes, thank you. It was how many sales targets? So what I want to do is I want to bring this inside my SQL. I want to create it. Oh. There are some things I want to teach us today. So let's open a new tab. I can open a new tab. Can you say I have different tabs here? So you can decide to open a new one. You can have as many as possible. So I want to open a new tab for our class. Let me open a new one. So you want to open this first one here. So I click on it. I will select I've opened the new tab. So now let me click on all of this. So now I want to yesterday we used pets, right? I taught you how to create table using pets. So I'm going to be fast with all of this. So I want to create another table called sales. Sales. Um let me call it pizza. Then let me call it sales. I want to create another pizza. So now I want to create a database called pizza. So what would I do from here? I've said someone sent me a message. I probably didn't reply. I wanted to reply after the class. That you sent a screenshot. Um,
Yes, I did.
Now I will tell you where the mistake is. You got an error, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now what you did was you did something like this. You didn't put database. You just wrote create pet. This is what you did. You didn't put the database.
No, I didn't. I later changed it. I put database and he entered.
So that was why I was saying writing it is different. For those that sorry, for those that started writing, you understand that writing is different. So let's create database called pizza. Now it has gone. It has gone. I've created it. So now it's not here. The pizza is not here yet. So I'll just right click here and refresh. Once I refresh, the pizza is now here. So let's create a table. Don't forget, the pet database that we created yesterday is still showing as the default schema, the pet database that we created yesterday. So I have to go and change it to this pizza database. So I'll right click on where I have the pizza, then I'll set as what default schema. I'll set it as default schema. So the pizza is now loaded. So now, don't forget on my sales table on my Excel sheet. I want to say something. Some people have this. In fact, they have it like this, something like this. This space here. that is covering the whole space that you have here, right? So you have something like this there. So if you want to close it, you can just click on this last button here. When I click on it, that's gone. I've closed it. So you can close that. So now, what I want to do is I want to create this sheet. This, can you see it? And it's how many? It's 10,000. So we'll be writing that this, sorry, it's 5,000. 5,000. 5,000. So we'll be writing that in this class. So what do? We write let me create the headers first because that's the first thing we do. We have to create the headers. So create table, the sales table. That's the name of the header. So it has SN, it's an integer. It has date, and date we use variable character. The reason why I'm using variable character, I will explain. The date is supposed to have a date format, right? I'll explain why we have this. So I'm coming, I'm heading somewhere. Okay. So I'm heading somewhere. So we have date to be a variable character. That is, I want it to assume a text, the date column there. So we have branch as a variable character, the pizza sold, variable character. I'm putting 225. There's no, I don't want to know how long the characters can be. They can't be up to 225. So I have price, which is decimal. That is key 6, comma 2. Quantity is an integer. Time is a variable character. We are still going to change all of this. Then the time range, a variable character. Then if I run this, that's created it. So now, what did I do? So, want to see. So let's see the table, right? Let's see it. Can you see? This is the table we created, but don't forget we don't have the data yet, so we still have to import the data. Where is the data? I've written it out somewhere. So it's here, the 5,000 data sets.
How did you import the data?
I've not imported it now. It's more like less like someone wrote it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Someone wrote all these things.
Yes. And that's
That's
like
a
going to
lot of
be
work.
that's going to be assignments now.
This is serious.
Why are we doing that analysis if you are going to be writing all of this? Don't you think this is not even possible? You people are working now. Are you people are that free to write all of this? I don't think we are that free to write all of this. I can't write all of this. But what I did, I'll explain what I did. How I was able to do that. How I was able to do that. So
Mr. Ahmed,
yes, sir.
is that not just saving the file as comma separated values, whatever they call that in CSV,
Yes.
and then copy from the notepad?
Copy from the note. Yes, that is. I'm coming somewhere. I'm coming somewhere.
Okay.
I'm coming somewhere. Now, if I want to insert now, if I want to insert, right? So, um, just like yesterday, you start putting everything, and each is representing the rows, right? So, the first thing, the SN number, that is serial number one, the date, the branch Ibadan, pizza is meter, price is 2,000, quantity is this. Sorry, price is 2,000, quantity is 5, the time is this, and the time range is this. So I will have to run all of this. So let me run it. This is the last part. Let me run it. Yeah, it has gone. So I can go back and say select star from sales, this sales data. Okay, it's giving an error. What was the name of this table that we created? Sales table, not sales data. Sales table. Sales table. So now we have it. This is here already. We have it here. Hope you can see. So now the next question is, how was I able to do this? I know we have that question. How was I able to? So what I did was, if you can convert this to maybe to a comma separated value on a notepad, and you copy everything on the notepad and you bring it to your SQL, or better still, another thing you can do is that I have the file already, which I'll send to you guys. So in that file, there's a Word document. It's actually in a Word document already. So what will be inside that Word document is this. I have a Word document already that will have all of this. So what you have to do on that Word document is for you to just Control A, so you copy everything. Control C, copy it, then come here and paste it. That's what you just have to do. So what is inside that particular folder? What is inside is insert into sales table, all of this till the last row. Why are we doing it like this? Why are we not just importing it? We are going to get there. But for this class, I'm going somewhere. I hope you understand. So,
Yeah, Mr. Ahmed, just a quick one.
yes.
When we do Control A and we copy it here, will it automatically indicate this? Like for example, now you see these dates. Now we have some like an apostrophe on it.
What I have
You
on
see,
that, let me see if I can still pull it out. What I have on that sheet is this SQL statement. What I have, what I have on that sheet is not tables. Oh. What I have is exactly what is here. Insert into sales table. What is here exactly? So you don't even need to change anything. The apostrophe, the quotation, everything is there. I hope you are getting me.
all right, all right.
I think the question is, how did you get this one?
Yes, thank you. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming. No, it shouldn't be this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, this is not it. No. Oh, I want to show you what. I will send. I will send it. I have it. I know I have it. Yeah. Look at the word document I'll be sending to you. So look at this word document. Can you see? It has all of this. So just for you to just copy this, just Control A, Control C, and come and paste it on your SQL. That's all. Instead of writing, you can't be writing. So what you want to do now will take anything less than 10 seconds for you to do. Just come here, Control A, Control C. I've copied like that. Come to your SQL and paste it. That's all. That's all you have to do. Then you go down, you run, you run. That's all. So now let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. So now, um, we have all of this. I've run it, which is good. We still have more tables, right? Let's see what we have. We have this again. So we have this. We want to create the sales target. The sales target has the pizza and the sales target, which is a number. So the highest number here is 10. 10 means 10 numbers before the decimal. And 2 years means 2 decimal places, that is numbers after the decimal. The pizza is a variable character of maximum length of 255. So let's run this. I'm placing another table, right? So let me go and bring in the values of that table. So let's bring in the values. Yes, someone asked a question that how did I do this? So you'll be using this? No, not really. I don't think you'll be using this because there's the swifter method of bringing files into your um that's gone. I think someone wants to join the class. I'm coming. Mr. Michael, please, if you have a question, just omit your mic and ask.
Sorry, it was a mistake.
All right. So someone asked a question. In fact, I even went through. Then my Excel was giving me issues. So what I did then was that I brought the table. I loaded it to Python. Those are some of the things we'll be doing when we get to Python. So I brought this table, this table itself. The file, I loaded it inside my Python system. Then I told Python to help me convert it into a Word document that can into a Word document that will contain this particular table. How am I going to put it? I instructed Python that okay, I need to create this table on SQL, generate an SQL statement that would generate this same table like this for me. So what Python did was that it went line for line and generated the creation statement for this table. So instead of writing it, Python helped me write it. I didn't need to do all of that. So do you understand? Hello?
So you must all of them are interwoven. Both Pythons, you must know all of them to help each other.
Yes, it's very good to. Now, why am I teaching you how to create? I will tell you the challenge I faced when I wanted to create. I'll tell you. So, let me just quickly finish this. Let me quickly finish this. Or better still, let me just tell you the story. So, when I started using SQL, one thing I faced was that for me to load data inside that SQL, I don't want to start creating file. I have the file already. So I want to load that data, that particular file. I want to load it inside SQL. The way we bring it inside with Power BI now, that one is your file. The way we just bring it in. Instead of writing the create statement, I want to bring the table itself in immediately. Is it possible? Yes. But what happened? It was slow. It was so slow. I was having like I think the file was like 5 MB or so. Just 5 MB. And it was taking, when something starts loading, it will show you like the number of minutes left, and it was showing me like 4 hours left. 5 MB. 5 MB is so small. Why? So if I'm dealing with a large data set, like a large file, will I be waiting for this? I said no, this can't be the way. There must be a way for me to. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So it was so slow. I was trying to load the 5 MB file, and it was giving me like, I don't know what happened that day. And that's one of the major reasons why I had a lot of databases. Mr. Petrol, have you faced that challenge before?
Yes, but I think I was researching. And I found this, is it SQL Lite? I think that one is faster. Yes, I'm not sure if I'm correct.
Okay. So now I've not even there was I used there was something I used. So and it's like that. I think my last class there was someone that was working with databases too, and she was working for a big company, and she said she has been using SQL that whenever she wants to load data, she's always leaving it overnight. Ah, I like why? So though I had the solution before then. So what did I do? So I did my research. I did a lot of things because I was thinking not like I can't wait for the 4 hours, but I was thinking this is not possible. People are using SQL. The main reason why people are using SQL is because of the scalability. Because you can input a lot of things. It has the size. But why is it taking time to load it? So what I did was that I saw something. Someone used Python to load it inside SQL. What do I mean? You tell Python that okay, I have a database inside my SQL. I have my SQL workbench. So I'm just trying to explain to you what the way I wrote the code so you understand what I did. So I told Python like okay, I have this database. I told SQL the name of my database inside my own SQL, inside your system. So I told that I want to load this data inside that SQL, inside that database, inside that my database. So what are you going to need? You will need that your username and your password. That password that you use in entering that your SQL, it will ask for it. So it will ask for the name of the database where you want to load it. And it will ask for the file you want to load. So those are the things I just inputted and I loaded it. Something that was taking like that was telling me like 4 hours or something. And I wanted to know the number of like I wanted to know how long it took. So I was conscious of time. So I put it there that show me the time that it took you to process it. It took 0.12 seconds for Python to load it inside that database. Do you know the meaning of 0.12 seconds? It's
So are
not
you
up
talking
to.
about Python or SQL?
I'm talking about Python. I used Python in loading that
Okay.
file inside my SQL.
Now up to 1 second.
It's not up to 1 second. Just pa 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 pa. Once I click on enter like this, everything just went. Bam. And I went to my SQL, that is this workbench, and I refreshed. Immediately I refreshed like this, I saw it there. It was there, can't quit. I was like, God. So there are ways. The reason why it is slow doing it like that, I don't understand. But are we going to be doing it? Yes. We'll be loading it ourselves. Thank God our file are not that large. Do you understand? So I think for the last course that I was taking, we had a file. It took like 20 seconds or so. And the file was like in KB. It's not even up to 1 MB or so. So it's like 20 seconds. 20 seconds, if you can analyze it very well, is slow. It's slow. For it to take 20 seconds, it is slow. But if it was okay, look at this. While we have been running all of this, there was no point that it was slow. Immediately you run, you either get your green or your red. You understand? So why are we having cases where I'm loading something of KB and it's giving me like 20 seconds? So if I'm running something of MBs, what will happen? So that is exactly one of the challenges. And I think me I've passed, I've conquered that one. Yeah, I've conquered that one. So it's not left for you people to conquer it. So let's continue. Let's continue. So now I loaded this. I think we've done this. Let's create the last one. So I think it's still remaining. Control C. Control V. God, my system is getting slow. Yes, this has worked. Let's input the data. Let me just okay. Hold on. So I've loaded that. So now I want to start with something. This is not where I'm going.
Sorry for disturbing. How did you
Okay.
load that data?
How did I load which data?
This one you just did. Insert daily sales target
Yes, I use the same method too. I use that. I was able to convert it.
from Python.
Yes, yeah. You don't need to worry about that. I'm sending all of this to you.
I have a question.
Yes, but someone gave an idea before, which is valid. You can turn your um this your what would I say
Excel Excel
Excel
sheet.
now, but the challenge you're having is that by the time you convert this to a CSV file, it's not like it's going to write out the SQL statement for you. It's just going to be saying, once you convert this your Excel sheet to a CSV file, what you have is you don't have your tables again. It's converted to a comma separated value. So instead of having lines separating them, you have commas separating all of them. Commas will be the one separating all of them. But if you see this, what we have on our SQL statement is this. I have places where I have they are in quotation. I have places where I have an insert statement above it. You understand? So it might not necessarily work. With this, what will you do if you have a project having this? You don't even have to go through the Python route because you can load it directly. This is not too large. Just because of what I want to teach you today, and I want to quickly, because we've done creation yesterday already. So I just want to show you some things today. That's why I'm doing this. So someone wants to ask a question again.
Yeah, my question is the bracket and the content in the bracket that is in the insert statement. Is it required? You know, you have bracket, day, comma, target, close bracket. Is that required?
Yes, it is. That was what we did for this too. Look at this. It's just like, can you see? For all the columns that you have it inside the bracket already. It is required.
Okay.
Yes. So now, what do I want to do? I want us to do something because we have an assignment. So now, let's see our sales table. Let me create another sheet. I'll be sending all of these sheets to you after this class. So now, select star from sales underscore table. So now, before I continue, you see when you're these are the challenges you'll be facing. Normally it is sales table, right? Sales table. This is a good way of writing sales table. So now, why am I putting underscore? In SQL and Python sef, if you want to write an entity's name, maybe the name of the table and everything, and it has a space. If you look at Python now, Python is sorry, this statement now is showing this sales as a different thing and table as a different thing. So how do I show that they are together? Why can't I just say sales underscore table? So if I say sales underscore table, the two they are together. So I will know that this is the name of what my table. If you are writing it, so if you load your table inside Python or inside SQL and there is like there is a space in between it, and you want to call out that table, you can't just call it out like this because it will be throwing an error. It will throw what? An error. Because it's going to be seeing the sales as something else and the table as something else. So you really want to tell it that they are together. They are together. So what am I going to do? I'll put a semicolon, and if I run this, I'll be able to see my table. Right? What if in a case that what you have If you look at this, I've changed all my columns. They have underscore, even the pizza sold. Pizza underscore sold. That's what I have. Before I even loaded it, oh, before I loaded it. What if in a case you have pizza sold and there is a space in between? There is a space in between. How am I going to write it? Look at what I'm saying. Select pizza underscore sold from sales table. From sales table. Can you see? You brought out the pizza sold column, right? The pizza sold column. So now, what if this pizza sold does not have this? It has a space like this, just a space. How am I going to tell SQL that this pizza sold they are together? Because the way SQL is seeing it like the pizza is another thing entirely, sold is another thing entirely. So even if you go to somewhere else and you want to debug this, you might be thinking maybe you want to say select pizza, comma, sold from. You might be thinking that is what you want to write. So how do I do that? And what is inside that table gongo? Is pizza space sold. How do I tell SQL that this is together? We introduce something I call a backward comma. A backward comma, you see, this backward comma is now showing like okay, this whole thing they are together. Can you see this whole thing now is now red? Backward comma. So where is the backward comma on our keyboard? For my own laptop is on the is one beside one. That one key. The one above and tab. You see there. The backward comma. So instead of putting it in quotation, we put it in a backward comma. And where is another place we can use the backward comma? You know date is a function, right? Functions are things that when I write, it's going to change to color blue. That is a function. Now, what if in a case that what we want to write is not that date function, it is that date in our data. You know, if I say this now, if I run this, there is a date column, right? Look at it, there's a date column. So that SQL will not be thinking that the date that you mean is the function inside SQL. The date I mean is the column inside SQL. How am I going to write it? I will say select date. Can you see the way to writing the date? Before I even get here now. Let me continue. I'm coming. Is everybody with me? Before I start. So please and please, I need you to be with me. Yes. So now, I want to say something. I want to see only the branch and then the quantity. The branch and quantity means says that no. Sorry, if I want to see everything, I will say select star from sales table, right? Star means all the columns. So if I want to see only the branch and the quantity column, what am I going to do, Mrs. Nkem? I will say select what? I want to see the branch and the quantity column. Select
Select branch, comma,
branch,
quantity,
comma, quantity,
quantity
sorry,
from
quantity from
sales.
Sales table.
sales table. Thank you. So
Mm.
it's not sales, oh, it's sales table. Sales table. Then I'll
Oh,
close it.
okay.
Then I'll run it. I'll be able to see the two branches, right? If you notice, those ones that are painted black, those ones painted blue, they are functions from SQL itself. Select is a function from SQL. From is a function from SQL. That's why they are painted blue. The ones painted black, they are either columns or the table name itself. The one painted black, they are either the table name, because the name of this table is what sales table, or columns in the table. If I want to reference cells, that is, if I want to reference values inside the table, that is, these values inside the table, they will come out as yellow color. You'll be getting there. So that's another way of you noticing them. Your functions will come out as a blue color. Your columns and your table name, they will come out as black. Your values inside the table, they will come out as what? Yellow. So now, don't forget that while you were creating your table, can you see the values inside the table? What color is this? This color yellow. So now, what if I want to select Mr. Charles? I want to select the date column and the price column.
So we do select
Select
price, comma,
price, comma,
then date
date, yes,
from sales underscore table,
from sales, thank you, from sales underscore table.
semicolon.
Table. Yeah. So now, if I run this, I'm able to see this. But note that for some databases, if you look at this date, it is painted what? In blue color. What is this showing us? It is just telling us that it is intelligent enough to note that okay, we have a date column. That's why it has this. So, but in normal context, because there are some places where I think there's another GBMS that I used one time. It was giving me an error because this was painted blue. So what am I going to tell? How am I going to tell it that what I need here is not the date function normally. Is a date that has it is the date column in my table, and it should be painted what color normally?
Black.
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 Thank you. So but it is painted blue. So what am I going to do? I will introduce that backward comma I talked about. Backward comma to tell it that it is not a function. No. But anytime you introduce a backward comma, it's going to turn it to red. But you just don't worry. But what I'm saying now is that what I'm doing here, it is not what? It is not a function. I want you to bring out the date column for me. So the price and date from sales table down. Good. And it has done it. I think I've explained that.
Sorry, this backward comma, where do you usually find it on the keyboard? Is it
That is that
the
is
one
where
just before the numbers, number one, right? The key before
yes,
number one?
the key before number one. Let me see if I
Okay.
can get to show the keyboard. So I will show you the keyboard picture. Yes. I know some people are already typing like that. They're already trying it. Hey, what's happening now? I want to show you that backward comma so you see it. Look at it here. This is it here. If you look at this, have you seen this? The one beside one. Can you see where my cursor is? I need you people to answer. Oh.
Yes, so
The one beside one. Look at it here. Look at it.
Yes, I've seen it. I've
Yes,
seen it.
that's it. So let's continue. So now, what I want to do now is that I want to start filtering. I want to start filtering. But before I do that, don't forget that on this our table, we need something called the revenue, right? Right? The revenue, where we multiply the price and quantity to get the revenue.
yes.
Yes. So how do I do that on SQL? That's the next thing. That's the next challenge. So what I will do is I will do this. So I'm not going to be calling it sales price. I will be calling it revenue. So I will explain this code to us now. So now, what do I want to do? The first thing I will tell SQL is that I want to update this table. What's the name of the table? Sales table. So you say set what? Revenue. The new column you want to do now. This, the revenue is going to be what? Price times what? Quantity.
Yes.
Are you getting it? You first send a prompt that I want to update this sales table. Someone is talking. I need to mute that person. Uh, yeah. So I want to update the sales table. So you set what's the name of the column that you want to have now? Revenue. And what are you going to be having inside that revenue? Price times what? Quantity. And I'll run it. Okay. Now before we do that, we've not created the revenue column, right? If you look at the error you have, you will see it there. Unknown revenue in the feed list. So I have to create the revenue column first. That's the first thing that we will do to create a revenue column. How do we create a revenue column? We did that yesterday. Um someone should remind us how we are what was going to be the SQL statements for that to add a column.
Alter table, then the
Alter table,
table name,
then the table name,
then
then I'll
update.
add column.
Yes.
So this is it here. So I said I will not be using sales price, I'll be using revenue. Revenue, yeah. So now I'll first add that column. That is, I'll add it to that particular table. So let me run that. It has gone. So I can now come back here and have this. So let me run this now. Yeah, it has gone. It has gone now. So now I can come back here and say select star from sales table. Can you see our revenue column is now added? Everything is there already. It's so simple. If you want to add a column, how do you do it? You alter the table, sales table, then add column revenue, and you put the data type. Then I want to input values. I don't need to start inputting it one by one. I already know that if I want to input it, it's going to be what? I will set that revenue to be equal to what? My price times what? Quantity. And it's going to do that for all the rows it has there. Even if it has 1 million rows, it's going to do that. So now, the next thing I want to do now,
So we can't see what you're typing.
is it okay now? Can you see it now? Forget about this table. There's no way I can increase this table. Can we all see?
Yes, I can see it.
I
Okay.
can see.
Okay. So now I want to start filtering. What do I mean by filtering? Look at something like this.
Can't see what you're typing.
I'm not typing anything yet.
Not displaying.
It's not displaying anything.
We
Maybe it's
can't
our
see what you're
network.
doing
I'm
there.
seeing
I
I'm
think I
seeing
think
what
it's the next.
you
I'm on
I
Excel
I'm
can
now.
see the
seeing.
Excel table.
So
I
I
can
think
see
it's
the
your
Excel
network.
table.
Maybe you just have to come back. Maybe you log out and log in back. So now, look at what I want to do. If you want to filter, let's say I want to see for Ibadan, only for Ibadan. I will do this, right? And I'll see everything for Ibadan. If I wanted to see for maybe a particular date, or maybe a particular quantity, I'll just go there and do my coding. How do we do this on SQL? I want to see all the columns. Oh, don't forget, I'm seeing all the columns. Just that I want to see where the branch is what? Ibadan. Where the branch is what? Ibadan. So what am I going to do? There's a way we write it. So let me put where the branch is Ibadan. So how am I going to say it? I will say select, because I'm selecting all the columns. I still want to see everything. Just that I want to see only where the branch is Ibadan. Select star. Star means everything, right? From sales table. From the sales table. Where where now is where we have our filtering. Use where to filter. Where what? Where the branch, that branch column is equal to, because Ibadan is a value inside our data, I have to put it inside what? Quotation. And you have to write it the way it is inside that table. Sorry, Ibadan, yes. Then I'll close it. Then I'll run. I don't know if you are getting it all. So now if you check this, if you check this, all the branches I have here now, they are all Ibadan. They are all what? Ibadan. So even if I wanted to see for Ikoyi, just for me to change this and say Ikoyi, and all the branches I'll be having here is going to be what? Ikoyi. To the next one, I want to do something else. No, this is not. Look at another one. Let me bring out those comments so we know what we want to do. Okay. Let me see if I can still add more. Okay. So now let's start. What they need again? He said retrieve records where the quantity sold is between 3 and 5. You know, if I wanted to do that on SQL, hope you didn't forget that what we are going to do. Did you forget? He said we should get where the quantity is between 3 and 5. Do you remember what we are going to do? We've done it during sorting and filtering in Excel. Do you remember? Where we come to quantity, we go to number filters, We said between 3 and 5, so you come to between. So where it is between 3 and what? 5. And I click on OK. So can you see all the quantities you have here is now between 3 and 5. All the 1 and 2 they are gone. You did this already. This was in Excel. So I filtered it based on their criteria. So how do I do that on SQL? Can you see I have 1 and 2 there before? So if I wanted to filter again between 3 and 5, I'll come here, number filter, then I'll go to between. Between. If I go to between, then I'll put it between 3 and what? 5. And I'll click on OK. So now, how do I do that with SQL? I will say select star from sales table Mrs. Akudo Agbayin, please help us mute your mic. I think I muted it the other time. Yes, thank you, ma. So now, select star from sales table. Yeah, where you can see. Okay, let me just write it. No, yeah, I wrote everything. I came here to continue. I can decide to continue on that same line. Where, no problem. Where what? Where quantity? Where quantity? What am I writing? Where quantity between 3 and 5. Then I'll close it. Then I'll run. So this is how I'll write it. If you want to get something like that, this is how you write it. Where quantity between 3 and 5. So even if you want to get where the quantity is greater than 2 or something, so you can say where quantity sheet greater than 2, then you run it. Can you see? This is how the quantities are greater than 2. So this is how you just start your filtering.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
between 3 and 5, can we also say greater than or equal to 3 and less
Less
than
than.
or equal to
So
5?
now,
Can we use that? Ratio
that's
between.
actually too long. So that's why we have between. Even on our Excel sees between as greater than or equal to this, then less than or equal to this. That's the way Excel sees it. But that is why they
Yes.
compressed it here to between, right?
Okay. Okay.
So now, retrieve records for branch Ikoyi and Gbagada. We've done something like that before, but here we have for only one. So I can say where branch equals to Ibadan. How am I going to say where branch is equals to Ikoyi, then Gbagada? How am I going to write that? It's going to be a little bit different. So how am I going to write it? I'll say select. So yeah, I don't want to retrieve the records. I want to see the revenue. I want to see all the revenue column for the branch Ikoyi and Gbagada. So how am I going to do it? Am I selecting everything? Nobody's saying anything. No. Am I selecting everything?
No, we are selecting just revenue.
Yes, we are selecting just revenue. So I will say select revenue because that's the only thing they asked for. Select revenue. Just that the revenue I want to select now must be for Ikoyi and Gbagada. So select revenue from sales table where branch now because we have two, I will not put equals to sign again. I will now use in, then open a bracket. Where branch in, because I have two. If I have two or more, this is how I will do it. So if they are said Ikoyi, Gbagada and Ibadan, this is the same way I will write it. I will now put all those branches that they need. I'll put it inside that bracket. They want they want Ikoyi, close it, comma, they want Gbagada, close it. If they want more, I can still continue adding more, but because they want only those two, then I'll close my brackets, close the statements, then run. So this is the revenue for Ikoyi and Bagada. So if they had said only Bagada, I would have used this. But because they said two, Abi, that's why I'm using this. Calculate the total sales revenue for each unique pizza. For each unique pizza. This is supposed to be next week's class, where I'll be dealing with aggregate function. But let me just quickly do this. So now, what they want there is something like this. That is for each pizza that we have. What is the total revenue? So if I want to do that here, if I want to do that here, how do I get revenue? Revenue now will be equals to this times this. Yeah. So remember pivots now. I will just come here. I will insert the pivot table. Table range. This control shift right, control shift down, existing sheets. So the location is here. Okay. I'm not going through all of this, so we've done all of this. So now what we want to do is for each type of pizza. So I'll just click on pizza sold. For each type of pizza, I want to get the revenue that was sold for each of them. So this is the total. Can you see what it did? It did the sum of revenue for each type of pizza. How do I replicate this type of thing on SQL? How do I replicate this type of thing on SQL? That is what that question asked us. So that question asked us that calculate the total sales revenue, that is the revenue, for each unique pizza. That is for each pizza that we have. Unique means one now. Unique means they have to occur once. So for each pizza that we have, for each type of pizza that we have, how much was the total revenue that was sold? So how do I do that? You know that if I just go to this and I say select pizza sold, comma, then revenue from sales table, what will it do for me? It's going to bring it out the way it is on the table. It's just going, everything is repeating. Do you understand? This is not answering our question. See, barbecue chicken is still coming out. I want you to calculate everything for barbecue chicken. That is what I want. That is what we want to do here. So who can give us an idea of what we can do? So now, since nobody can give us an idea, what are we going to do? So I will say select pizza sold, because what I want must have how many columns? What I want must have how many columns? Nobody's answering. Is everybody still here?
Yes, two columns. You should have two
Yes.
columns.
Two columns. Thank you. What I want must have two columns. So I must be selecting two things here. So I must be selecting the pizza sold. I want to see the pizza sold, comma. Then another thing I want to see is sum of revenue. So I will sum that revenue column. Sum of what? Revenue. So even if they're asking for maximum revenue for each type of pizza, I will not use sum, I will use max. If they are looking for the average, I will not use SUM, I will use AVG. AVG is for average. Sum of this from where? From the sales table. We are not done. We are not done. Don't forget that because those pizzas will be appearing only once. And anytime you have, all this sum, maximum, minimum, average, they are called aggregate functions. So anytime you have an aggregate function, obviously for you to have an aggregate function, the other things will be appearing only once. So now if I said maximum for each type of pizza, definitely the pizzas will be appearing once. So just that I'll be bringing out the maximum. So I must tell SQL that okay, it is appearing once, and there is what? An aggregate function here. I'll continue with my code. I will not tell SQL that group by. What does the group by means? Group by means you want to bring it out in form of something like this pivot that we just did. So can you see everything is appearing once, right? It is appearing. What is appearing once? This pizza sold. So what am I grouping by? I'm grouping by what? The pizza sold. So if it was branch that was here, I would have grouped by what? The branch. So now I'm grouping by what? The pizza sold because it is the pizza sold that is appearing what? Once. And that is the end of my code. Then I'll run it. So now, as you can see, this is everything. Mixer is 1.6 million here. Let's go to the pivot table and see. Mixer. Mixer here is 1.6. Correct. Correct. Let me try and sort it. I'm coming. I've sorted it. So the hottest, sorry, this one is around 4.2 million. Hot pepperoni feast. Let's go back to our SQL and see. So if I sort this, hot pepperoni, can you see it? Hot pepperoni feast. Hot pepperoni feast, 4.29 million, which is correct. So that is. So now, look at this. I want you to see something. What is our header? The first header that we have here is the pizza sold that we first wrote, right? The second header is that sum revenue because they are summed it together. What if this is the way I want my answer to come out? I don't want sum of revenue here. I want something like total revenue to come out. Though I know I have used sum to get my answer, but I want to get total revenue. I don't want this edge in here. How am I going to write it? While I'm writing my code, I would have said select pizza sold, then sum of revenue as total revenue. As total revenue. So what I'm saying is that in your answer, instead of writing sum of revenue, put it as what? Total revenue. So if I run this now, total revenue is coming out. That sum of revenue that we did, we have changed it to what? Total revenue. And we have it here. Total revenue. So
Sorry, can I ask, please, why
yes,
do we have this, the other one, the group by pizza sold?
yes, I already explained that because the pizza is the one appearing once, right? If I
Okay.
didn't put anything, it might just bring out. It's even going to throw an error because let me remove this and put this here. Let me close mine and run it. Can you see there's an error?
Oh
There's
yeah.
an error because
I
we have
see.
an aggregate function already. And for
Mm-hmm.
every aggregate function that we have, don't forget, it means that the other function, the other column that we have here, will be appearing only once, right?
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
So because it is appearing only once, we must tell it that there is an aggregate function. Then how do we recognize an aggregate function? We use the group by. Do you understand? Group by what? What am I grouping by? I'm grouping by that thing that will be appearing once. And what is that thing that will be appearing once? Pizza sold.
Okay. Okay.
Then I'll run it. Then I'll have this. Then I'll have this.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say there is only God that will help me. The more I
Hey.
try to understand, the more it's as in there. It's my
Now
head is modeling.
we have one thing is see.
All I'll say is it's just like learning a new language. It's like learning.
Yes, you are learning a new language.
It's
You
just
have a lot of things there.
what's going on.
You still have a lot of things. This is still a lot. Still under that same table. So this is still a lot. Still under that same table. This is still under that same table. So can you see we still have a lot of things to do? And still a lot, still under that same table. So I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just telling you that we have a lot of work to do. Because this is a new language and you must understand it. And the only way we can understand it, Mr. Charles, just bear with us, we are almost ending the class, don't worry. So the only way we can understand this is practicing. So now, one thing is, that's the end of today's class. Let me stop the recording. So